I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. Fans of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, welcome to another edition of Night Watch. I am your host, Larry K. We're here for a Thursday night therapy session, unfortunately. This is not going to be a happy video, unlike most of my last few videos, and it's unfortunate, it's sad. First of all, thank you to everybody, though, who has subscribed to the channel over the last week. You're much appreciated. We crossed the 100 subscriber threshold, which is awesome. We got to keep hitting that. So if you haven't done so yet and you're a Rutgers sports fan or a Big Ten basketball fan, any of the above, just hit that subscribe button right underneath me. Go for it. I love having any new member and any new comments, any new participation is greatly appreciated. We're going to keep on talking Rutgers basketball, and we're going to keep on recapping games here. Guys, look, this is the Big Ten. This is a grueling schedule. Every team virtually that we're going to play down for the rest of the season is formidable adversary. When you play on the road in the Big Ten, it's that much harder. No team should be taken lightly, especially an Izzo-coached Michigan State. It is what it is. We knew it could happen. I think going into the game, everybody thought, is our luck going to run out? Michigan State hasn't had the best year. They're down their sixth man. Could we take care of business on the road yet again and really do something that's really tough to do in the Big Ten, which is win that many road games? I believe it would be 3 straight road games for us if we had won. If we'd done it, I think our ranking goes even higher from 23. I think we're in even a better position, and the hype is just through the roof. But hey, I think we probably lose our ranking this week. And guys, I don't know if I want to be ranked anymore. It seems like we're cursed. Whenever we get ranked, man, we just drop games. Like, it's very short-lived every time. Maybe we should just not be ranked and just be the hunters instead of the hunted. Maybe that's the way to go for this team. But we're going to drop out of second place. That is what it is. There's so much parity in the Big Ten. It's so close, in the middle there. And even at the top and bottom, there's really no outliers. So it just gets to the point where you're back to kind of the middle of the pack, lower end of the top half of the Big Ten. That's okay. The schedule can get more favorable down the stretch if we do what we're supposed to do and take care of business. We still got a lot of tough games coming up, though. It is what it is. The story of tonight, though, we've seen this team in this year and mostly in prior years under Steve Pikiell. We've seen this team build our hopes up and play really well for a stretch and then just go lay kind of an egg. And especially on the road against a team like Michigan State. You thought maybe that could have happened in this game, and when tip-off hits, you kind of start feeling where the energy is. You didn't get that feeling early on in this game. In this game, early on, you really got the feeling that Rutgers was taking control because we were playing the game with the defensive intensity that you would hope for. And early on, our offense looked to be kind of in rhythm, getting the ball to Cliff down low. He was cutting to the basket. He was getting involved, dunking the ball, which we haven't seen in weeks, maybe a month. So you start feeling good about it. But I'm actually texting with my buddy while the game's going on, and he says straight up, well, we better stop giving them uncontested threes, and we better stop launching our own shots too early in the shot clock. It could come back to bite us. And sure enough, it came back to bite us. The story of the game is quite simple. We didn't go in and lay a stinker. We played a ball game on both sides of the ball that we easily could have came out with the victory, except, quite simply, their shots were going in all over the place, and none of our shots were going in. Nothing. We couldn't hit a bunker on a golf course surrounding the narrowest of greens. If we wanted to hit the bunker on that golf course, we'd get a hole in one. That's how bad we were. We just could not buy a bucket. Meanwhile, Michigan State has like a lights out night. I think their average on the year was 5.9 threes per game, and they hit 12. That's the story of the game. 3-point field goal percentage. You want to hear it? 52%. Michigan State shot 52% from three. 52%, 12 of 23. Rutgers, 2 of 18. 11% from beyond the arc. 11%. When you're shooting 11%, you only make 2 threes, and the other team's shooting 52, you're not going to win the game, period. Field goal percentage, we were 34% from the field overall, 22 of 64. They were 46, 25 of 56. I mean, that's the game. That's the story of the game. Our free throws, 11 for 15, 73%. They were 85, 6 of 7. Can't blame the refs in this game. Refs, I think, called a very good game. This was one of the better called games I've seen all year of any Big Ten game I've watched, quite frankly. And quite frankly, they were calling the game more in Rutgers' favor, but I don't even think that was because they were doing it on purpose or had some kind of agenda. I think they were just calling the fouls as they came in, and that's how they wound up, and they were pretty even, both halves. Refs called a great game. We just couldn't do anything. And it sucks because, like I've been saying, when the team and everybody plays their role, we're hard to beat. Well, this game, you saw Cliff play his role pretty well. But almost everybody else couldn't really fulfill theirs. And it wasn't because they weren't getting shots or weren't doing anything. They just weren't falling. Cam Spencer, 8 points, 3 assists, 7 rebounds. But, he couldn't buy a bucket. He couldn't buy a three-pointer. And if Cam is just half of what he usually is, this is at least a game and maybe we win it. If Cam is just half of what he usually is, we have a great chance of winning this game. But he wasn't. So we can't convert anything. Andre Hyatt, man, he makes great moves. He gets the boards. He cuts to the rim. But Andre Hyatt has to miss more rebounds than any player I've ever seen. And I'm not knocking Andre Hyatt. I like him as a player. He's a great young man. It's just he should be practicing nothing but layups in the gym, when there's not a game going on. Because it's just a shame. I don't know if it's bad luck. I don't know if it's technique. I don't know what it is. But that's just a shame when you just can't hit layups. And then Cliff is missing layups towards the end. Caleb McConnell, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 11 points. I got to say, Caleb has had some... What I want to say is Caleb has been a solid offensive contributor in certain games this year. He's still a very good defender, and he's still a very tenacious rebounder and playmaker with the guys around him, and he still brings a lot of energy. I wish at certain points in certain games that Caleb would just play a little bit within himself. And by that I mean there were some mistakes tonight that we've seen from him in certain other games this year where it just seems like he's playing a little bit outside of himself. He's trying to make a drive or make a move. It doesn't work. It gets stripped. Or, he's trying to make a pass after getting a steal or getting a tough rebound, and it's just a miscue and it goes right back to the other team and they convert on an easy layup when it should be a fast break the other way. Things like that he's just struggled on. And I think maybe it's because he feels he's got to do more than he has in previous years, but he really doesn't if you look at the composition of the team, including guys like Spencer, guys like Simpson, guys like Cliff. He doesn't need to do all the things he's trying to do sometimes. And I think just he needs a woosah moment sometimes, just deep breath and just play within himself. And I think things could be a lot better. But that's just another thing that happened today. It wasn't like anybody was really on their game. You tried putting Reber in there. He wasn't very effective. You tried putting Wolf in there. Wolf had the nice rebound. Couldn't convert the three-point play, but you like what you see. That was the result of a Caleb McConnell hustle play, which was awesome. But he just couldn't convert it. Cliff, 12 points, 13 rebounds. He's got a double-double, and I thought it was one of the better games Cliff has had for the last month or so. It's just a shame the guys around him weren't, playing at the level they've been playing with. But if Cliff, you hope Cliff can keep that up going forward and the guys get back into their rhythm, because then that would bode well for us down the stretch here. Mawot Mag, 5 rebounds is what I'm seeing here. It seemed like more. It seemed like he had as many as Cliff. The guy was all over the place. 2 assists, 6 points. I liked Mag's game today. I wouldn't have taken Mag out hardly at all. I mean, he was playing tough D. He was drawing fouls. He hit a couple shots there, and he was a beast, on the boards. doing what he had to do. I really like Mag as a player. And he, contrast him to Caleb, he played within himself on offense, I think. So that was good. Akins, just 11 points. Hauser, 13 points on Michigan State. Hoggard, 16. Kohler, 12. I mean, some of these guys were, and I think it was Kohler was hitting, his career high sometimes in some of these stats and some of these points. And Kohler, double-double. 10 rebounds and 12 points. They were just shooting lights out. And if there's one trend line that you want to look at that I do think this is one of Steve Peichel's best defensive teams ever at Rutgers. I truly still think that. But if there's one weakness, and early in the year against some of the teams from lower conferences, it looked like the weakness was going to be inside. But if you're watching us in Big Ten play, our biggest weakness when it's exploited, and even, we saw it against Iowa, is closing out on the perimeter defense. If teams get hot against us shooting from three, we struggle mightily to keep up because for some reason teams are getting open looks from the perimeter, and it's killing us. We have got to figure out a way to close out better on the perimeter. Now, it's a tricky business based on the lineups you have in there. Do you sacrifice offense by giving more minutes to a Jalen Miller? Do you sacrifice, potential mistakes by giving more minutes to a Simpson? Do you resort to putting Mag on maybe their best perimeter player every game, or even Spencer's playing good defense? I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what the flaw is, but teams are, when they can hit from outside the arc, they are beating us that way, and that's how they're doing it. Now, some of it's luck. It's been a trend all year that teams have been deep in the clock and been heaving up threes and hitting them. That's just been an unfortunate thing. But it can't all be luck when it becomes such a trend and such a pattern. And so it's difficult. But look, there's not much you can take from this game. At the end of the day, we went toe-to-toe on the road. Some of the reason that they probably were shooting lights out and we were cold is because you're playing on the road. I thought the crowd from TV anyway seemed very loud, seemed very engaged. The whole time looked like they were jumping up and down and loud and engaged. And the players are going to feed off of that, and it's going to help us to struggle, even though I thought we've shot decently on the road this year so far. But when Cam Spencer, and Cam's got to keep shooting, he will rebound. It's not like he's going to be shooting like that all year. He just had a bad night, and it's crazy. He's such a consistent scorer for us and an offensive weapon that when he's struggling that mightily, as compared to when he's on fire, it's night and day for our offense, and it's night and day for how powerful and how formidable and how dominant our team is. It just is. Paul Mulcahy, only 1 rebound, 4 assists, 12 points. Paul, I don't want to say he's been going through a slump. Paul is Paul, and he's a glue guy, and he's a good player, and 12 points isn't bad. But I think that there just has been something where I'd like to see Paul, especially in games like this when guys are cold, when things aren't working, when the other team's draining everything and we need to stay in there. I'd like to see Paul take even more control and make something happen on the offensive side of the ball. And tonight wasn't really his night. But that's also because the shots weren't going in. So how can you even really judge Paul if he's dishing it out and we're getting open looks all over the place, but it's not going in? He's not going to get the assist. So I don't even know if I could say that, quite frankly. We had a bunch of open looks, which is what I'm, if we were sitting here saying, look, we lost the rebound battle, which I don't think we did. Total rebounds, no, we won the rebound battle, 43-34 overall. Offensive rebounds, we won 18-6. 18-6. They had 6 blocks. I don't know. They started just towards that second half. They were just swatting everything. We were going up in the lane, and the commentators pointed it out. When Paul had it, he saw that the center was committing to one side, so he spun around and hit a shot, and everybody else was running right into the teeth of that defense and just getting swatted. Turnovers even 10-10. Steals of just about even. We win 9-8. It was just the shooting. It was just the shooting. That's really all that there was. It was an evenly matched game. It was just the shooting. Except we destroyed them on rebounds, but it didn't matter because second and third chances still weren't going in for us. Whereas first chances and almost always second chances were going in for them. So the reason I say this is it's not like we went in there and we were turning the ball over left and right, or we absolutely were getting shredded on defense, or we lacked control of the boards, or any of those things, or we weren't getting open looks, or our offense looked anemic in terms of ball movement. None of those things are true. We moved the ball well. We got a lot of open looks. We out-rebounded them by a large margin. We played decent defense, except on that perimeter. It's just that they outshot us. Like, we weren't even at our average or even close. We were well below our average, and they were well above their average. That's just a recipe for a loss, on the road especially. And being on the road with a team, let's face it, with their back to the wall a little bit, losing at home recently, and then losing 2 in a row, their back's against the wall, but they're at home, they're feeding off the crowd, and that's a recipe to have that shooting disparity. So you have what you have there, and that's kind of it. The good thing to take away from that is that statistically and actual basketball-wise, aside from the shots just going in, and they weren't all air balls either, they were just not falling, we played toe-to-toe with them. We matched up. It's not like we totally wet the bed. So what do? You come back Tuesday. We got plenty of time to practice, get our heads straight, forget about it, fly home, practice, get ready to go. And you got Penn State coming to town on Tuesday. Now, Penn State is not bad this year. They're getting better and better. From what I understand, Penn State is similar to the way Pike's early teams at Rutgers were. And that coach over there has said he wants to kind of make Rutgers under Pikel a model for him. They've played tough. They're a formidable team. And, they're not going to be anybody to take lightly. So they're going to be coming in. It's a rival, whether you like it or not, whether they like it or not, especially in basketball. We've basically dominated a lot of the series, but it's a rivalry. And they're 3-4 in the conference, so not far behind us. Like I said, there's a ton of parity in this conference. They're 12-6 overall. So you can't take them. That's another tough game. So we've got to try to win that game. And we got Minnesota twice down the stretch, but you got Michigan State coming back, and Michigan State's going to be at MSG. I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool opportunity to play in such a famous arena. It's still a home game, essentially. It's nice for the guys to get to play in New York. It's nice for us to kind of claim that turf, especially with how much our basketball team is rapidly, the trajectory of it. And by the way, that Ace Bailey commitment is just huge. I mean, top 10 guy in the nation. And you got him committing. You got Gavin Griffiths already coming in, still working on Harper. I mean, the trajectory of this program is amazing. And this year is by no means looking down. This team can do a lot of things, make a lot of noise too, and I'm excited about this year's team. But that's just great news. But it's good to get into MSG and to kind of claim that turf and to kind of, especially the way we've been playing, kind of take that turf over, cross that bridge, cross that river, and take that turf. Because if we keep going the way we have been going, this is going to be our region and our city overall, period. So I like it for that reason, but I don't like giving up a home game at the RAC when the Big Ten is so close and every game is so important. Now you have Michigan State coming to town, but they're coming to, Midtown. So, it's not, we'll see how it goes. But then we've got Iowa on the road. We know what they did to us at home with the way they shoot the ball. We didn't match up well with them that time because they were just lights out from the perimeter as well. We got some other tough games. But first order of business, you got to take care of Penn State. You got to take care of them at home. A Tuesday night, weeknight game. Let's get back on track. The season is still looking good. The Big Ten contention is still looking good. Tournament resume still looking good. Everything looking good. But this was a setback. These are going to happen. Let's get that out of our system, and let's come back strong. You're not going to win every game in the Big Ten. You're especially not going to win every game in the Big Ten on the road. Style points count for something with resume and whatnot, so it's a shame we lost by 13 or whatever it was we lost by. Trying to do the math in my head quickly. Doesn't look good. But it's also not the end of the world. You lose by 1 point or you lose by 20 points. It's still a loss in the Big Ten on the road. It is what it is. You live to fight another day. Get home to Jersey Mike's, a.k.a. the Rack, a.k.a., the Trapezoid of Doom. And take care of business. Take care of business. So I'll see you guys at the Rack on Tuesday. I'll be there. So if you see me, say what up. I'll be having a brew and sitting in the stands over there, way up a little bit and cheering on and getting loud like I normally do. Let's beat Penn State. Let's kick them in the butt. And let's get back on track. Since we do have some time this weekend without a game, I'm going to try to release another video, one regarding one of my favorite before and after game spots in New Brunswick. Just a short video. I think hopefully you guys will like it. And if you've been there, you'll co-sign it. And if you haven't been there, maybe you'll check it out. And then I want to release maybe another video discussing just the Big Ten in general, some of the other teams, some of the standings, the outlook, and how different matchups are going, etc., what teams are going through. So hopefully I get that out there. Guys, if you're a Scarlet Knights fan, if you're a basketball fan, if you're a fan of other Big Ten teams, or just a fan of content, or just guys in Jersey talking sports, hit subscribe. It's right under me. It takes 2 seconds. Smash the subscribe button. Join the Night Watch growing movement and the growing channel that we are. More content is coming at you. More things. Once I get enough subscribers and things, I can go live. We can do play-by-play on the air. We can do panels where people call in. We can do so many different cool things once we reach certain thresholds. So if you haven't done so yet, hit subscribe and join the movement. And you'll hear from me this weekend, and I'll see you guys down in Piscataway on Tuesday. Later.